And both players are readied up, so we are going to jump on into this game.
Yep, let's.
The map is Frost.
Get her going. 4.
That didn't sound good.
No, I even heard that through my headset.
Ooh.
Sounded like a TV crashing or something.
That is what it sounded like. Hopefully that's not what it was.
Moving into Frost, one of the largest maps in the map pool in the upper left-hand corner. It is our yellow Zerg, currently up 3-2. It is Spidersayer.
And in the bottom right corner, demonstrating some impeccable mech play, but having a hard time sealing the deal. He needs to win this game and the next one to continue. It is Yoshi.
Man, these have just been fantastic games. I almost think this has been one of the closest. I mean, it's definitely been one of the closest series we've had, as we haven't been to a Game 6 yet today.
Absolutely not, no. And, you know...
Oh, look. Spidersayer coming out with a 6 pool.
He absolutely is. I think, you know, Spidersayer was tired before we went into this match. And we're already into Game 6. These have been long games. These have not been short, quick wins for the majority of them. So, obviously, he has been fatigued. He was talking about being fatigued early on, and he just wants to keep going. He wants to finish this as quickly as possible.
Yes, I think given the players' ability to hear us a little bit, we should almost keep this a little...
No. Okay, sorry, we're going to whisper.
Yeah, so there's a 6 pool, and Zergling's in production. But the thing is here, Spidersayer is going to have to get down here, and he's going to have to stop this wall for me. But I mean, honestly, this is probably one of the scariest maps to do a 6 pool on, because you don't know where your opponent is. I mean, okay, so now he's narrowed down that it's not the bottom left. I mean, he can head his Zerglings down here, assuming that he could change direction as soon as this Overlord gets here. But I mean, he's got almost no economy. 4 drones mining minerals, because he sent 2 drones out to do the scouting. But these Zerglings are going to be headed out. But gosh, I don't know. This is kind of scary for Spidersayer.
It absolutely is. And he, you know, did a gas trick to try and get an extra 2 Zerglings out, now making an Overlord. I mean, he's playing it very close to the wire, and it's going to come down to this. He has narrowed down where his opponent is, so he's going to try and get in there before this wall goes down.
But
the wall
you know what? Yoshi now just clicking a SCV over there. Reaper coming out. It's not going to be an SCV, and there is no supply depot coming down. This is going to seal the deal if he does not build a supply depot here.
Yoshi's going to have to do an impeccable hold here if he wants to be able to stay in here. And there they go, right into the mineral line. Suddenly Yoshi's going to have to pull, and he's going to try and plug that hole now, running those SCVs around.
Yeah, I mean, just giving up free SCVs so far, not really putting up much of a fight. Reaper is coming out. He's waiting until that happens before he tries to make a stand here. But, I mean, Spidersayer doing quite nicely here. I mean, there is that Reaper out now, so he's going to be able to get some damage again. But all this time they're not mining. He's essentially doing damage by the SCVs being completely useless, aside from force fields.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to zone out
those
Zerglings, but he was able to hold that. And honestly, he did lose 6 workers, but frankly, you know, he didn't even finish that supply depot. He just kind of got it going. It's now finished, and it was burning, so Spidersayer almost got in, but suddenly now Spidersayer is almost on the back foot, as he's going to have to continue to make some drones. Both players relatively low on food, though, for this stage of the game.
I mean, looking at the worker count, it is 15-11 in favor of Spidersayer right now, so that's not all that bad. I mean, he did kill 6 workers for 6 Zerglings, and that's even 3 larvae.
Absolutely.
So it was a very even trade. I mean, looking at units lost, definitely in favor of Spidersayer, 200 to 300. So, you know, it really depends on what he comes out of here. But, I mean, it's scary to do something like that against a Terran, especially on this big of a map, because I would venture so far as to say 9 times out of 10, you're not even getting into the Terran base.
Yeah, you know, he did get in. He did do a little bit of damage, but, again, Yoshi was able to do some damage, and Spidersayer is definitely not feeling good about what just transpired, and he's going to have to play from the back foot now. But both players, you know, obviously a lot of respect for each other, a lot of manner here, being very playful with one another, and talking about the game as they're playing it.
Yep, so. Expansion going down for Yoshi, same for Spidersayer. You know, both players are relatively even now. Yoshi has gotten the worker advantage by about 1, but you know, I mean,
now those 2 Reapers are moving in. There's really not a whole lot here to deal with this. There's no queen at the main. And
is about to pop though, so it's almost out.
2 lings are there. There is a queen coming up from the natural, so now there's 2 queens, and he does get the surround. Oh, almost. They squeeze through a hole.
Oh,
and,
he almost had a chance to get that last shot off of that one SCV that was nearly dead.
But no, the Reaper's going to continue. It's starting to heal a little bit slowly. Does save that drone by making it into an extractor, but the Reapers have begun to heal already. They're going to get out and having done some damage. So Spidersayer's really got to be feeling like he's playing from the back foot now, and it almost is like 2 minutes of this game just didn't even happen.
Yeah. I agree completely, but you know, there are 2 queens on the field. Speed is on its way. Drones are being made. Yeah, my prediction, he just goes for some kind of Baneling bust here now.
You know, I mean, you follow up an all-in with an all-in. I mean, it can work. He was able to save another drone by making an extractor. Another one was not able to be saved. And Yoshi just microing these Reapers very well. He's keeping the higher health one closer to the damage or the attacking units. Oh, he did look away, almost lost one. Did get it out of there, and the queen does not want to try and engage these off creep necessarily. He's got to be real careful not to get that queen too far away from that creep, otherwise the Reapers can get in between the queen and the creep and prevent it from doing a whole lot.
So we're seeing fairly standard things from Yoshi so far. He is getting his 3rd command center, 2 Hellions at a time coming out of that factory. And these Reapers just being a huge problem for Spidersayer. Looking at the workers killed, it is 6-7, so it's fairly close here. Those Reapers really getting a lot of those kills. Now a lot of Zerglings coming out. Spidersayer wants to get something done here. Speed is about to finish up, so he's going to want to go across, put some pressure on. But I mean, he's not going to be able to get in. This is completely walled off. But I mean, we have seen stranger things happen when we thought it was completely walled off.
Right. Yoshi has had some difficulty keeping his wall a wall in certain instances. So.
And he's really got to be careful, quite honest, as he moves these units out. One time he got caught was when moving Hellions out, trying to protect them, moving back. He couldn't lift up his supply depot. Oh, and if he's going to get up there, he needs to do it right now. And that supply depot is down. The Zergling's going to get in, get that bunker down as well.
Oh man, and you know, you've got to be really kicking yourself at this point. Blue Flame has just started for Yoshi, and frankly, you know, you've got to be kicking yourself about that wall issue if you're Yoshi right now. You got to think, you know, if I had left that supply depot up, this would have gone a lot better for me.
Got to be careful though, because these Hellions are taking a lot of shots on these Zerglings. The SCV's blocking for the Hellions.
Yeah, I mean, doing a really good job at defending there, but honestly, it could have gone a lot better if that wall had just been complete like it should have been. There is still one Reaper to the right of the main base of Spidersayer. Not really doing a whole lot with it at the moment. These Lings are trailing back over to the main base. But, you know, Spidersayer's not really got a whole lot going on. Again, I think he keeps wanting to try and end this game somewhat. Roaches are going down now.
Yeah, so do you follow an all-in with an all-in and then follow that all-in with an all-in?
I mean, it seems like Spidersayer just really says, I want this game to be done. I just want to be done.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of position where, I mean, it's getting to be the point where it's going to be rough. The armory is coming down, 2 tanks, 1 on the high ground, 1 in a good position on the low ground. There's not going to be much that's going to be able to push into here. I mean, he's just not in a, you know, you can see that he wants to go meatless. He's got the layer going down. But, I mean, his economy is so low right now. I mean, he's making a ton of drones.
Yeah, he just did make a large number of drones. His Roach Warren is about to finish, and he needs to start cooking those right away as these Hellions are moving in, and they do have Blue Flame.
The drones barely, there's drones
and they
are just
running for their lives. Sure enough, and frankly, this actually is going to work out in his favor, even if he loses these 6 drones. I mean, wow, look at how quickly those go down. Yeah. But I mean, that is going to buy some time for these Roaches to come out. Unfortunately, those 3 of them only in production just now. The Spine Crawler, it does finish though, so that is going to help hold these off for the time being.
He did a nice job there of trying to plug that hole, but there is an opening over here as well, I believe. But he's going to be able to see what's up in those drones that did hide in the corner over here, now going back to the 3rd base to start mining. But, this one is going back to the natural. They're going to walk right by these Hellions, but the Roaches are out now.
A few more are going to be coming back as well, so they do get roasted. Trying to save whatever he can by making extractors. Does manage to save 2 of them, but does lose a total of 4 that were originally mining at that base. Roaches come down to try and assist, but the Hellions are long gone at this point. A drop coming forward too. Hellbats again, and you know we've seen this Yoshi do this just about every game. He really loves to do this drop of just 2 Hellbats, and frankly, I don't see why he wouldn't with as effective as it's been. He's been doing a lot of good trades with them.
Spidersayer seemed like he sensed this coming. He had all those roaches right there, but he kind of pulled them back a little bit. The Spinecrawler is there, so Hellbat's only, I think, getting 1 worker kill, so not the best trade, but you know, Yoshi is trying to put on as much pressure as he can in as many different places. 2 Hellions coming in the front. That Spinecrawler does take them out, maybe lose just a couple Zerglings. And
it looks like Spidersayer's starting to get a little bit more comfortable in this game. His drone count still is pretty low, but he does have pretty ideal numbers on his bases. Yoshi is trying to get an idea of what's going on, spot the tech rather, and sees that it's actually roaches. There is no sign of Mutalisks, and he has gotten 2 Thors already, so trying to do a little bit of a deviation to throw off Yoshi.
Those Hellbats did get quite a bit of damage, and moving another Spinecrawler here behind the natural expansion, going to drop them off again. The roaches are right there, but gosh, it just does so much damage. Those drones, 4 of them are just within 1 shot of being dead, but doesn't want to commit that extra unit to it.
And it looks like Spidersayer is going to go Roach Hydra this game, so he's doing all sorts of deviations from what he's usually comfortable with. And you know, I don't see why he wouldn't. If you're going toe-to-toe with what you're used to doing, and you can be fairly confident that your opponent's going to, or you know your opponent is doing what he's been up to for the remainder of the large number of games that you've been playing, doing something a little bit different could throw him off.
And he's getting tunneling claws for the roaches as well, so he's going to be able to do some sneak attacks in that regard. But so here's the other interesting thing. I would really love to see a Nidus network in this game.
We'll see what we see, but there is another medevac going to be dropping a couple more.
Hellbat lumbering its way across the map as well.
Yep, and so boosting in, dropping them in the back side of the base, away from the Queen this time, and more drones are going to drop.
That's it. He did a good job of pulling those drones out in the right direction, using the Queen to try and... Oh, but the drones walk right past the Hellbat, all funneling right through the space there. That Spinecrawler does finally take out the Hellbat. The other one is just still kind of walking its way around.
Yeah, I think that one was it was just one of many that he had kind of clicked on there, and so trying to get rid of that. But the roaches are now moving in to do a little bit of damage over here. Thors are moving forward, tanks are moving forward, getting sieged up, so they're not going to be able to get a whole lot of damage done here. He's not going to be able to attack into that, but he was able to do some damage to those mineral line, and now burrowing those roaches, moving them out of the range. Before 3 more Hellions coming in now at the 3rd base for Spidersayer. More drones are going to be taken down.
Yeah, he's not gotten any static defense at this 3rd base, which is a very wide open 3rd base.
Absolutely, and he's just slowly moving roaches across the map and taking heavy damage over here at his natural. 1 roach does come out to start dealing damage, and 3 are coming forward at the top of the ramp here. But geez, these Hellions just getting many, many kills.
Total of 45 workers killed by Yoshi.
And you know, Spidersayer's really just got to be really frustrated this game.
No, there's a turret here, so it sees these roaches, but it does allow them to get past the lowered supply depots, takes out the bunker, and now it's going to force Yoshi to pull all of his units back. You know, he's got a lot of scans saved up. That's just what he does, but you know, coming up this path here, it's going to be scary. All those tanks need to siege up, and it's going to be...
Yeah, and Burrow's not going to save him now. He's just kind of running those roaches in as deep as he can, but there's Ravens, there's turrets. I mean, he's not going to be able to hide from anybody here.
Yeah, 156 to 91 is the supply in favor of Yoshi, and Yoshi has quite the formidable force here.
12 more roaches in production. He does have that Hydralisk den, but he's chosen not to do much with it. And I mean, with the number of Hellions and Hellbats that have been on the map thus far, I can see why they would, you know, really evaporate pretty quickly.
Indeed. I mean, there's a good gathering of roaches out here, and separating them, I mean, he's sent quite a few across the map down here while keeping some at home, and there is another medevac coming in with more Hellbats just as a bunch of drones pop at this 3rd base, so this is going to be another big hit for Spidersayer.
And there's just no roaches over here. He's going to have to walk them over from the top of his ramp. This will eventually get cleaned up, but not before more drones go down. And Spidersayer is going to start now putting down some static defense. He's got to be feeling really frustrated, though. Oh, no, but the Spore Crawler does get killed before the Hellbat finishes, or gets killed by the roaches, rather. And another drop was going down in the main base as well while that was going on.
All the scans going down to see what is where. now, you know, Yoshi's getting pretty close to 200 here, so he's going to start to make that push out, which we saw in one of the games. You know, actually, this one is a pretty nice map for some sieging, because you can siege up here and sort of reach this base, and as you move up into the natural, you can make a nice slow siege. But I mean, there is a small group of roaches coming across the map here, but I mean, certainly not much of a fight for this giant tank Thor army.
Absolutely not, and he's going to have a hard time defending against this. There are Hydralisks being produced at the home base, but frankly, there's just not going to be enough of them. And I mean, the food for Yoshi is effectively double of that of Spidersayer. The army supply, 130 to 71. I mean, this is going to be very hard for him to hold, especially when half of his units are still pushing forward at the base of his opponent. So now these tanks, these Hellbats, are moving forward, and really the only things that are really there are a handful of Hydralisks and a couple of Roaches. There's not really a whole lot.
So many Hellbats, so these Hellbats are insane.
And so this third base is absolutely going to fall, and Spidersayer just kind of hunkering down back in his main, realizing that there's not really a whole lot that he can do about this, just trying to get whatever damage done he can with these Roaches. But Hellbats are moving forward. Drones are being rallied to mineral lines, but they can't get through this wall, so they're just kind of hanging out there, and he might lose a few of those. It looks like Spidersayer's really just not even paying attention to his base any longer. He's just focusing on microing these Roaches, trying to get as many kills as he can, get as much infrastructure down as he can, and he's actually doing a pretty effective job with it.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of in a trance here watching this slow push. It's actually not that slow. He's just kind of walking his way right on in. Natural is gone, going to be moving up the ramp, re-sieging at the lower ramp to the main, scanning up there to see what's there. Baneling Nest, Hydroden, all going to be going down. Spidersayer just left with not a whole heck of a lot right now, as his food count is down to 55. You're going to see a GG here soon, with even just a couple of Hellbats doing a lot of damage to this group of Hydralisks right here.
Yeah, you know, all of his focus is going into this micro for these Roaches. He's just trying to do as much damage as he can. But, you know, he does have, I mean, Yoshi has lifted up his orbital command, and when you're only attacking units or Roaches, there's just no way that you're going to be able to kill everything. So Spidersayer's going to have no choice but to GG here at some point. He is trying to rebuild, it looks like, a little bit from this hatchery that remains out of the sight, but there's the GG.
So
and we will be going to a Game 7.
Wow, indeed.
And the maximum number of games that we possibly could be doing today.
Absolutely. It is, it's Sunday.
Yes.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you.
You know, we actually get an extra hour here shortly, because we in Michigan celebrate daylight savings time.
Yes.
So what is it, at 2 o'clock it becomes 1 o'clock again?
No, at 2, well.
Right?
Yes.
2 o'clock you roll back to 1 o'clock.
Yes,
so
that is correct.
We get to relive the period between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. twice today.
All right, so Spidersayer is asking what is left in the map pool. That is a good question.